Sutta. Mic check. Yoga Sutra, Book 3, Sutra 3. Trying to relax. Namaste. Kanantaku be kushata pipansani buratatiha Jihuvayam Atasatata Danantu Atasatata Danantu Sadanantora Tasatata Ganantasatato Tasatata Kubasatataram. One more. Jihuvayam Atasatata Danantu Sadanantora Tasatata Ganantasatato Tasatata Kubasatataram. Number 2. Kananta. Okay, one more. Kananta Kube Kushutu Pipansani Buratatiha Jihuvayam Atasatata Danantusa Danantora Tasatata Ganantasatato Tasatata Kubasatataram. And then number 2. So it skips 5 syllables. Kantakupa Atasatata Danantusa Danantora Tasatata Ganantaku Pasatataram Samyamata Kushuta Pipansa Na Bhatete Namaste. Upon the valve of the throat, the cessation of hunger and thirst. Below the tongue there's a cord. Below that is the throat. Below that, the well. As a result of concentration upon that, hunger and thirst do not torment. Okay, cool. Next, Bhagavad. Veda, Book 4, Hymn 42. Namaste. Mama Devijang Rashatam Kushatriyasyam Vishivan Yolvishiva Amuratan Yatan Nah Kratum Sachanante Parunasyam Devan Rajami Gurushatue Rupamasyam Bavureha Aham Rajan Paruno Mahyam Danya Suryanui Pratama Tharayanandam Kratum Sachanante Parunasyam Devan Rajami Gurushatue Rupamasyam Bavureha Ahaminandro Parunasatem mahit bolbi, gapire rajasi, sumekem, tavashirtuevan, pishavan, puvanani, pidevan, samairayam, rodasi, tarayam jam, ahamapo, apenem bamukushamanu, tarayam, divam, sadana, rotasyam, rotena, puturo, aditelata, botam, tritatu, pratayadvi, puma, mam, naraha, savashivam, vajayananto, mam, vrataha, samaranue, havanante, Kurunomian Jim, Makava Haminandra, Ialmi, Renuma Pipu Diojang, Aham, Tan, Vishavan, Chakaram, Nakilman, Taivyam, Saho, Parate, Aprati Tam, Yanaman, Soma So, Mamadania Dugutome, Mamadania Dugutope, Payete, Rajasi, Apare, Pidushitue, Vishavan, Puvanani, Tasya, Tan, Prabi Shui, Marunoya, Vetahe, Devam, Praturanui, Shiranambi Shue, Chakanamban, Devam, Puratam, Arino, Inandra, Sinantune, Asama Kamatara, Ulpitarasata. I'm gonna do another version. I think this is supposed to be one word. Asama Kamatara Ulpitarasatam, Sanan Sapatam, Roshoyo, Daugahem, Batyamane, Ta, Aya Janantam, Tarasadasyo Masyam, Inandram Na, Purotaratura Malta Devam, Purotaratura Malta Devam, Purotaratura Malta Devam, Purukutasani, Hi, Vamada Shadatavye Pirinendra Barunwe, Vamada Shadatavye Pirinendra Barunwe, Namo Piha. Namada Shadatavye Pirinendra Barunwe, Namo Piha. Atam Rajanam Trasadasyo Masyam Purotarahanam Tadatural Tadevam Rayam Vayam Sasabam So Madema Avyena Devam Yabasena Gavaha Tam Tenuminendra Varuna Yuvam No Vishavaha Tadata Manasa Puranandima Tadata Manasapa Manapa Tatasa Manapasu Puranandima Namasutta. I am the royal ruler, mine is empire, as mine who sway all life are all immortals. Varuna's will the gods obey and follow. I am the king of men's most lofty cover. I am King Varuna. To me were given these first existing high celestial powers. Varuna's will the gods obey and follow. I am the king of men's most lofty cover. I Varuna am Inandra. In their greatness, these the two wide, deep, fairly fashioned regions, these the two world halves have I, even as the Vashirtar, knowing all beings joined and held together. I made to flow the moisture-shedding waters, and set the heaven firm in the seat of order. By law, the son of Aditi, law observer, had spread abroad the world in threefold measure. Heroes with noble horses, famed for battle, selected warriors call on me in combat. I, Inandra Makavan, excite the conflict. I stir the dust, lure of surpassing vigor. All this I did. The God's own conquering power never impedeth me whom none opposeth. When laws and soma juice have made me joyful, both the unbounded regions are affrighted. Unbounded regions are affrighted. All beings know these deeds of thine. Thou tellest this unto Varuna, thou great disposer. Thou art renowned as having slain the Vrutras. Thou madest flow the floods that were obstructed. Our fathers then were these, the 7 Rashvis, what time the son of Dulgaha was captive. For her they gained by sacrifice Trasadasyu, a demigod, like Inandra, conquering foeman. The spouse of Purukutasa gave oblations to you, O Inandra Varuna, with homage. Then unto her ye gave King Trasadasyu, the demigod, the slayer of the foeman. May we, possessing much, delight in riches, gods in oblations, and the kine in pasture. And that milch cow who shrinks not from the milking, O Inandra Varuna, give to us daily. Okay, Upanishad next, thank you. Books, Chan and Dogi Upanishad, Book 7, Cananda 21. 1 shloka. And after this is Bhagavad Gita chapter 2. I hadn't read Bhagavad Gita in like a few months, I think. Okay, cool. Here we go. Namaste. Yadang by Karot Yatam Nisitishitati Na Karatavan Nisitishitati Karatavavan Nisitishitati Kuratisitavan Vijijinya Sitaviati Kuratim Bhagavo Vijijinya Sang Iti. I want to read the whole thing again, it's so short. Yadang by Karotiata Nisitishitati Na Karatavan Nisitishitati. Yeah, it's not easy. Nisitishitati Karatavavan Nisitishitati Kuratisitavan Vijijinya Sitya Vijijinya Sitaviati Kuratim Bhagavo Vijijinya Sang Iti. Yeah, sometimes you can say it perfectly. Sanskrit will not let you. It will not let you change this reality so quickly. Okay, Namaste. Iti ekavimshaha kanandaha, but I did it just so I could test it. Yeah. So yeah, I think whatever you recorrect the first time should count, and that should be enough if you're into reciting Sanskrit. Sanskrit understands, It's like, okay, no, you're not gonna do it perfect today, no matter what. Verily, when one is active, then he grows forth. Without being active, one does not grow forth. Only by activity does one grow forth. But one must desire to understand activity. Sir, I desire to understand activity. Okay, next and last is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2. I hadn't read Bhagavad Gita in a few months, and I started reading it again, starting 2 weeks ago or last week. Last weekend. Okay, here we go. Taking a longer break. Chapter 2 is like 80 shlokas long. It'll take me half an hour at least to read it. I've read it many times and it should be faster. So yeah, 80 shlokas in half an hour is pretty fast. Yeah, 30 minutes of reading Sanskrit coming up. I have to be prepared. I've learned this through experience because, when I didn't know any better, I would just delve into it, just to, go ahead and start right into it. And I found out, I would die at the end. Once I realized that I was dying at the end of every session, I stopped torturing myself. Yeah, I want to see how long this is. I have to be prepared. 72. Better than I thought. 72 is better than 80. 72 will take me 25 minutes. 16, I'm gonna start at 17-minute mark. Get prepared, really prepared. Blue one, I think works. Blue, yeah, okay, cool. No, it's the blue one. No, yeah, blue. Okay, cool. Oh boy, I'm gonna just push right through. As long as I read it correctly, I'm fine. May God be with me in Jesus' name. Amen. Om Shri Supadraya Namaha. Did I forget anything else? No, here we go. Namaste. Atha Deviti Yotyaya Sankhya Yoga Sankhya Yoga Sanjaya Upacham Tam Tatang Gurapaya Vishatamashuru Purna Kulakushanama Vishridanantamidam Bhagyamuvacham Matusudanaha Shri Bhagavanuvacham Kutasatavam Kashemalamidam Vishame Samupasatitam Anarya Jushirta Valgya Makilti Makal Mara Karamaljuna. Okay. Tikaramarjuna Anarya Jushirta Valgya Makilti Karamaljuna Galaibiam Ma Sama Kamaha Palta Naitatavayu Papadiate Kushudram Hurudaya Daulbaliam Diakatubo Tutishurta Paranantapam Arjuna Uvacham Gatam Pishimamaham Sangankye Dronam Jam Matusudana Ishu Piha Prati Yotusyami Pujaya Varisudana Guru Nahatavan Hi Mahanupavan Shreyo Pogutum Paikushuyama Piha Loke Advan Takamam Sutu Guru Nihaivan Punjiya Pogana Rutira Pradigatana Nam Jaita Vidamaha Katarananum Kariyo Yadavan Jayama Yadivan No Jayayuha Manevan Hatavan Na Jiji Visha Masate Basatitan Pramukhe Taitara Shatra Gai Panuya Doshwa Gai Panuya Dosho Hat Bahata Seva Pava Gai Panuya Dosho Bahata Seva Pava Buraja Chami Divan Taima Samampu Taima Samamu Tajatan 야쯔체레야흐 시야는디시치땀 부루히 따는메 시슈여스 때함 샤티 맘 뜨밤 브라빠는 나무 나히 브라빠시야미 마마 마누빠디 마누 마마 바누디아드 야즈 촉감부주 초셔너 미는들이야너마 야즈 촉감부주 초셔니 야즈 촉감부주 초셔너 미는들이야너마 아바피암 푸마 바사바스나 무르드탐 라지암 수라너마피자 티바티암 산자야 우바짬 에바무거트반 브루슈이 게샴 구드 게샤흐 바라는 따밤 나 요트시양 이띠 고비는 다무거트반 두셔누임 바푸바 하 나무바짬 브루슈이 게샤흐 브라하사는 니바 바라땀 세나 요루 바열마티에 비슈이다는 땀이담 바짜흐 Shri Bhagavan Upanishad Ashotyananam Vashochasattavam Prajñavadam Shicha Bhashasam Gatasu Nagatasum Shicha Nanu Shochananti Pananduitah Natavaham Jatu Nasam Natavam Neme Janatipah 나 짜이바 나 파비슈여 마흐 살베 바야마타흐 바라무 데히 노스미니아탐 데헤 가우마람 야와남 자람 따탐 데하는 따라브라 부틸 티라스 따트라 나 무히아티 Padrasa paishasa tu kaunanteya shitoshana sukhaduha kadaha shitoshana sukhaduha kadaha agama bayino nitya sitam sititiku shasava bharatam yam hi na vyathayanantiyate purusham purushashapam 사마두하 카수캄 티람 소무르 따뜨바야 까르빠뜸 나 사또 비디아테 바보 나 바보 비디아테 사타흐 우파요라피 들으실 또는 따스뜨바요 바나요스 따뜻뜨바다시피흐 들으실 또는 따라 우파요라피 들으실 또는 따스뜨바노 바나 들으실 또는 따스뜨바나 요스뜨바 I need to take a break. I got distracted. Starting from here. It was to be expected. I'm gonna be attacked throughout this session. Because according to Bhagavad Gita itself, you're not supposed to read it to anyone else other than devoted brahmanas. So I will get attacked. And it also says that for the protection of Shudra caste, because they don't want them to die and be cursed because of Bhagavad Gita. But, oh well. Okay, starting up again. As a matter of fact, I'll start from the top of the shloka. 16. Na sato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sattah upayonapi 들으실 또는 따스뜨바나 요스뜨 따뜻뜨바 달시피흐 들으실 또는 따스뜨바나 요스뜨 따뜻뜨바 달시피흐 요스 따뜻뜨바 들으실 또는 따스뜨바나 요스 따뜻뜨바 달시피흐 아비나시 뚜 따드비드티 예나 살바미담 따따무 비나샤마비야 야시야 시야 나 가시치트 깔투마하티 अनंता बनंता इमे तेहां नित्यास्योक्ता शारीरिणः अनाशिनो प्रेम अनाशिनो प्रमेयस्यां तस्माद्युथ्यासवा भारतम् या enam vedati hanantaram yashachainam manyate hatam upau tau na bijanito na yam hananti na hanyate na jayate muriyate va kadachinen na yam bhutva bhavitan va na bhuyah ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire Veda vinashinam nityam ya enamajamabhyayam katham sa purushah palthakam khatayati hananti kam Pasamsi Drilnoni Yatam Vihaya Navani Gruhunoti Naroparanui Tatam Shariranui Vihaya Drilnonianiani Samniati Navani Dehi Nainam Chinandananti Shasutranui Nainam Dahati Babakah Na Jainam Gladayanantiapo Na Shoshayati Marutah Ajachedio Yamada Hio Yamash Gladio Shoshuya Ajachedio Yamada Hio Ajachedio Yamada Hio Yamakledio Shoshuya Evacham Nityah Salvagatah Sthanurachaloyam Sanatanah Avyakuto Yamachinantio Yamavikario Yamuchiatem Avyakuto Yamachinantio Yamavikario Yamuchiatem Tasma Devam Viditavainam Nanu Shochitumai Hasi Atam Jainam Nitya Jantam Nityam Vam Manyase Murutam Tatapi Devam Mahabaho Naivam Shochitumai Hasi Jantasya Hi Truvom Murutil Truvam Janama Murutasya Jam Tasma Daparihariyelte Na Devam Shochitumahasi Avyakatadini Bhutani Vyakatamatyani Paratam Avyakatanitana Eva Tatrakan Paridavanam Shecharya Bhat Pashyati Kashichidanama Shecharya Bhat Badati Kashichidanama Shecharya Bhat Badati Tathaiva Chanyah Shecharya Vachachainamanyah Shirunoti Shrutava Pienam Veda Na Chaiva Kashichit Tehi Nityamavatyoyam Tehe Saivasya Paratam Tasmat Saivanui Bhutani Natavam Shochitumahasi Sivathaimamapi Janvekushuya Na Bikamam Pitumahasi Taimyadati Yudataj Chireyonyat Kushatriyasyam Yudataj Chireyonyat Kushatriyasya Na Vidyatem Yaduraja Chayam Jopapananam Savagadu Varapavurtam Ramapam, Subhagaduvan, Ramapam, Buddhatam, Sukhinaha, Kushatriyaha, Balta, Lapanante, Yudutami, Duroshama, Yudutami, Duroshama, Atam, Jatutavamimam, Taimiam, Sanganguramam, Nakarishyasi, Tataha, Sevataimam, Kiltim, Jan, Hitavan, Pamava, Pusyasi, Akiltim, Jampi, Kutani, Katayushyananti, Devyayam, Samampa, Vitasyan, Jankiltil Marano, Dati Richiatem, Jankiltil Marano, Dati Richiatem, Payadrano, Duparatam, Mamsianan Tetvam, Maharatah, Yeshwam, Jantavam, Bahumato, Putavam, Putavam, Yansiasi, Lakavam, Avajyabadam Shijam, Bafunam Badishyananti, Tavan Hitah, Ninandanan Tasat, Ninandanan Tasatavam, Samaltiam, Tato Tuhakataram, Nukima, Hato Van, Van, Prapusyasi, Svagam Jitavan, Van, Pokushyase Mahima, Tasama Dudishata, Gaunanteya, Yuditaya, Gurutandishajaya, Sukaduhakem, Samem, Gurutavam, La Pao, Jaya Jaya, Tato, Yuditaya, Yujiyasava, Naivam, Bapamava, Pusyasi, Esha, Depihitam, Sangan Buddha Tiriyogam, Devimam, Shiranua, Buddha Tiam, Yugaton, Yayam, Balta, Kalmabanantam, Maha Siasi, Praha Siasi, Neha Pikramana Shosati, Pratyavayo Na Vidyatem, Sivare Pamapyasya, Taimasya, Trayate, Mahato Payat, Vyabhasayat Mikam, Buddha Tirekeha, Buddha Tirekeha, Guru Nanandana, Bahushankha, Yanananda Shejam, Buddha Tayo Vyabhasa, Basa Inam, Buddha Tayo Vyabhasa Inam, Yamimam, Pushipitam, Pancham, Prabhadanantya Vipashachitaha, Prabhadanantya Vipashachitaha, Vedavadat. Yeah, I got somebody's out there just doing stupid shit. That's how you know I'm being interrupted, when I'm doing poorly. That means I'm distracted. You cannot do this when you're not concentrated. So, you know, the angels and demons, the demons' primary goal is to distract me in any way it could think of. That's demonic. Okay, at least I'm halfway through, or a little more than halfway through. Should be done within the next 20 minutes. $10 maybe. Okay. Here we go. Namaste. Yamimam, Pushipitam, Pacham, Prabhadanantya Vipashachitaha, Vedavadarataha, Palta, Nanya Dasati, Vadinaha, Kamatmanaha, Subhagaparang, Janamakalma Palapradam, Janamakalma Palapradam, Kriya Vishesha Bahulam Bhogaisha Variagatim Pratim Bhogaisha Varya Prasakatanam Taya Pahurata Chatasam Vyavasayatmikam Buddhatiha Samatau Na Vitiyatam Terai Gunuya Vishayam Vedam Disatarai Gunuyo Pavanjunam Nildevananduvo Nityasatavasato Niriyo Gakushwema Atmavan Yaban Alta Udapan Salvatah Samanpluto Dake Samanpluto Dake Damban Salveshu Vedeshu Brahmanasya Vijanatah Kalmanuye Vatikan Rasate Man Paleshu Kadanjanam Man Kalma Pala Hetul Pul Man De Sangan Gosutava Kalmanui Yoga Satah Guru Kalmanui Sangangam Tyakatavan Tananjaya Siddhatiyoha Samo Pudavan Siddhatiyoha Samo Pudavan Samatavam Yoga Ujyatam Durana Yavaram Kaima Buddhati Yoga De Tananjaya Buddhatau Sharana Mana Vichachan Gurupanoha Palahetavaha Buddhati Yogadom Jahadi Ha Upe Sukurata Dushukuratem Asamad Yogaya Ujiyasava Yogaha Kaimasu Gaushalama Kaimajam Buddhati Yogadam Buddhati Yogadam Hi Palam Tyakatavan Mani Shuinaha Janamabananta Vinil Janamabananta Vinil Mukatan Her Padam Gajachanantia Namayama Yadang Te Mohakalilam Buddhati Vyati Tarishyati Tadang Kanantasi Nilvedam Shurota Vyasyan Shurotasyan Jam Shuruti Viprati Pananang Te Yadang Satan Asyati Dishachalam Samatha Bachalam Buddhati Sutadang Yogamava Pusyasi Arjuna Uvanjam Satita Prajñasya Kang Pashwa Samathisatasyam Keshavam. Thunderstorm going on. Wow. Namaste. Satita Prajñasya Kang Pashwa Samathisatasyam Keshavam Satita Tiha Kim Prapashwatam Kimasitam Prajata Kim Shri Bhagavan Uvajam Prajahati Yadan Kamana Saivana Partha Manogatan Atmani Evatmanan Jushitaha Satita Prajnya Satadojyatam Tuha Keshevanu de Vignamanaha Sukeshu Vigatasa Purahaha Vitaraga Payakurotaha Satitatil Muni Rujyatam Satitatil Muni Rujyatam Yaha Salvatrana Pilsne Hasatatava Prampyam Yaha Salvatrana Pilsne Hasatatava Prampyam Sorry, I got distracted again. 57. It's like 16 left, not that many left. A page and a half left. Here we go. Yahu Saivatarana Pisune Hasatatatang Tatatatatata Prapiam Saivatarana Pisune Hasatatatata Prapiam Shupama Na Pinanandati Na Dubashatui Tasyam Parajinyam Pratishatvitam Yadang Samharate Jayam Gulmonganiva Salvashahu Inandriyan Muinandriyan Tepiasatasya Prajinyam Pratishatvitam Vishoyan Vinivaltanandam Niraharasya Tehinahu Rasavaljam Rasopiasyam Param Tirashartavan Nivaltatam Yatato Hyapi Kaunanteya Purushasyam Vipashititahu Enandriyanui Pramatini Harananti Prasapam Manaha Tani Saivanui Samyamya Yukuta Asita Mataparaha Pashe Hi Yasyanandriyanui Tasyam Prajinyam Pratishatvitam Dhyayato Vishayanam Pumsaha Sangangasuteshu Pajayate Sangangatu Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Groto Pijayate Grotad Pavati Samamoha Samamohat Samurati Vipramaha Samamohat Samurati Vipramaha Samamohat Samurati Vipramaha Samurti Pramshad Buddhatinasho Buddhatinashat Pranashyati Raga Devesha Vimukataisutu Pishayan Inandriya Jairana Yaisharana Pishayan Inandriya Jarana Viyukata. And then there's a second version. Ragadvesha Vimukataisutu Ragadvesha Viyukataisutu Vishayan Inandriya Jarana Atma Vashyai Viteyan Atma Vashyai Viteyan Atman Prasadamati Gajachati Prasade Saivadhuhakanam Anirasyo Pajayatem Parasanana Chataso Hyanshu Buddhatiha Pariyapatishitatem Nasati Buddhatira Yukutasya Na Cha Yukutasya Bhavanam Na Cha Bhavayataha Shanantira Shanantasya Kutaha Sukhama Inandriyanam Hi Paratam Yanamanonubhitiyatam Tadasya Harati Parajinyam Vayulnavami Vamam Phasi Tadasyam Harati Parajinyam Vayulnavami Vamam Phasi Tasmadhyasya Mahabaho Nuguruhitani Saivashaha Inandriya Tepyasa Tasyam Parajinyam Pratishatvitam Yang Nisham Saivaputanam Tasyam Jagalti Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Putani Sang Nisham Pashyato Muneha. I want to be there. Yasyam Jagrati Putani Sang Nisham Pashyato Muneha. Alright. Apuryamana Machala Pratishatam samudra mapaha pravishananti yadvat tadvat kama yam pravishananti salve sa shananti ma punoti na kama kami sa shananti ma punoti na kama kami vihaya kamanyah salvanam pumam sejarati dihasupurahah nilmamo nirahangankarah sa shananti matikachati Eshva brahmi satitih paitha nainam prapya vimuhyati satitavasya manantakalapi brahma nirvana murajachati That's it. Namaste. Tatu saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishad Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastra Shri Krishna Arjuna Sambad Samkhya Sankhya Yogo Nama Dvitiyotyaya. Somebody's angry. Namaste. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break and then get on with the translation. So that took me 30 minutes. 72 shlokas took me 30 minutes. Wow. Namaste. Here we go. Sanjaya said, Unto him thus possessed with pity, his eyes filled and oppressed with tears, and desponding, the slayer of Matu said these words. The Holy One said, Whence, O Arjuna, hath come upon thee at such a crisis this despondency that is unbecoming a person of noble birth, that shuts one out from heaven, and that is productive of infamy? Let no effeminacy be thine, O son of Kunti. This suits thee not. Shaking off this vile weakness of heart, arise, O chastiser of foes. Arjuna said, How, O slayer of Matu, can I with arrows contend in battle against Bhishma and Drona, deserving as they are, O slayer of foes of worship? Without slaying the preceptors of Greek glory, it is well to live on even alms in this world. But slaying preceptors, even if they are avaricious of wealth, I should only enjoy pleasures that are blood-stained. We know not which of the two is of greater moment to us, viz., whether we should conquer them or they should conquer us. Those slaying whom we would not like to live, even they, the sons of Dhritarashtra, stand before. My nature affected by the taint of compassion, my mind unsettled about duty, I ask thee, tell me what is assuredly good. I am thy disciple. O instruct me, I seek thy aid. I do not see which would dispel that grief of mine, blasting my very senses, even if I obtain a prosperous kingdom on earth without a foe or the very sovereignty of the gods. Sanjaya said, having said this unto Hrishikesha, the chastiser of foes, Gudakesha, addressed Govinanda, saying, I will not fight, and then remained silent. Unto him, overcome by despondency, Hrishikesha, in the midst of the two armies, said, The Holy One said, Thou mournest those that deserve not to be mourned. Thou speakest also the words of the wise. Those, however, that are wise grieve neither for the dead nor for the living. It is not that I, or you, or those rulers of men never were, or that all of us shall not hereafter be. Of an embodied being, as childhood, youth, and decrepitude are in this body, so is the acquisition of another body. The man that is wise is never deluded in this. The context of the senses, with their objects producing heat and cold, pleasure and pain, are not permanent, having a beginning and an end. Do thou, O Bharata, endure them. For the man whom these afflict not, O bull among men, who is the same in pain and pleasure, and who is firm in mind, is fit for emancipation. There is no existence of anything that is distinct from the soul, nor non-existence of anything possessing the virtues of the soul. This conclusion in respect of both these hath been arrived at by those that know the truths. Know that to be immortal, by which all this is pervaded. No one can compass the destruction of that which is imperishable. It hath been said that those bodies of the embodied, which is eternal, indestructible and infinite, have an end. Do thou therefore fight, O Bharata. He who thinks it to be the slayer, and he who thinks it to be the slain, both of them know nothing, for it neither slays nor is slain. It is never born, nor doth it ever die, nor having existed will it exist no more. Unborn, unchangeable, eternal, and ancient, it is not slain upon the body being slain. That man who knoweth it to be indestructible, unchangeable, without decay, how and whom can he slay or cause to be slain? As a man casting off robes that are worn out, putteth on others that are new, so the embodied, casting off bodies that are worn out, entereth other bodies that are new. Weapons cleave it not, fire consumeth it not. The waters do not drench it, nor doth the wind waste it. It is incapable of being cut, burnt, drenched, or dried up. It is unchangeable, all-pervading, stable, firm, and eternal. It is said to be imperceivable, inconceivable, and unchangeable. Therefore, knowing it to be such, it behoveth thee not to mourn. Then again, even if thou regardest it as constantly born and constantly dead, it behoveth thee not yet, O mighty armed one, to mourn thus. For of one that is born, death is certain, and of one that is dead, birth is certain. Therefore, it behoveth thee not to mourn in a matter that is unavoidable. All beings were unmanifest. Only during an interval, O Bharata, are they manifest. And then again, when death comes, they become unmanifest. What grief then is there in this? One looks upon it as a marvel, another speaks of it as a marvel. Yet even after having heard of it, no one apprehends it truly. The embodied, O Bharata, is ever indestructible in everyone's body. Therefore, it behoveth thee not to grieve for all creatures. Casting thy eyes on the duties of thy order, it behoveth thee not to waver, for there is nothing else that is better for a Kshatriya than a battle fought fairly. Arrived of itself, and an open gate of heaven, happy are those Kshatriyas of Baalta that obtain such a fight. But if thou dost not fight such a just battle, thou shalt then incur sin by abandoning the duties of thy order and thy fame. People will then proclaim thy eternal infamy, and to one that is held in respect, infamy is greater than death itself. All great car warriors will regard thee as abstaining from battle from fear, and thou wilt be thought lightly by those that had esteemed thee highly. Thy enemies, decrying thy prowess, will say many words which should not be said. What can be more painful than that? Slain, thou wilt attain to heaven, or victorious, thou wilt enjoy the earth. Therefore, arise, O son of Kunti, resolve for battle. Regarding pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat as equal, do battle for battle's sake, and sin will not be thine. This knowledge that hath been communicated to thee is in the Sankhya. Listen now to that in the Yoga. Possessed of that knowledge, then, O Baalta, wilt cast off the bonds of action. In this there is no waste of even the first attempt. There are no impediments. Even a little of this piety delivers from great fear. Here, O son of Guru, there is only one state of mind, consisting in firm devotion. The minds of those, however, that are not firmly devoted, are many-branched and attached to endless pursuits. That flowery talk which they that are ignorant, they that delight in the words of the Vedas, they Upalta, that say that there is nothing else, they whose minds are attached to worldly pleasures, they that regard heaven as the highest object of acquisition, utter, which promises birth as the fruit of action, and which concerns itself with multifarious rights of specific characters for the attainment of pleasures and power, their hearts being deluded by that. The minds of those men who are attached to pleasure and power cannot be directed to contemplation, regarding it as a sole means of emancipation. The Vedas are concerned with three qualities. Be thou, O Arjuna, free from them, unaffected by pairs of contraries, ever adhering to patience, without anxiety for new acquisitions or protection of those already acquired, and self-possessed. Whatever objects are served by a tank or well, may all be served by a vast sheet of water extending all around. So whatever objects may be served by all the Vedas, may all be had by a Brahmana having knowledge. Thy concern is with work only, but not with the fruit. Let not the fruit be thy motive for work, nor let thy inclination be for inaction. Staying in devotion, apply thyself to work, casting off attachment, O Dhananjaya, and being the same in success or unsuccess. This equanimity is called yoga. Work is far inferior to devotion, O Dhananjaya. Seek thou the protection of devotion. They that work for the sake of fruit are miserable. He who hath devotion throws off, even in this world, both good actions and bad actions. Therefore apply thyself to devotion. Devotion is only cleverness in action. The wise, possessed of devotion, cast off the fruit born of action, and freed from the obligation of birth, attain to that region where there is no unhappiness. When thy mind shall have crossed the maze of delusion, then shalt thou attain to an indifference as regards the hearable and the heard. When thy mind, distracted by what thou hast heard, will be firmly and immovably fixed on contemplation, then wilt thou attain to devotion. Arjuna said, What, Keshava, are the indications of one whose mind is fixed on contemplation? How should one of steady mind speak, how sit, how move? The Holy One said, When one casts off all the desires of his heart and is pleased within the self with self, then is one said to be of steady mind. He whose mind is not agitated amid calamities, whose craving for pleasure is gone, who is free from attachment, fear, and wrath, is said to be a Muni of steady mind. His is steadiness of mind who is without affection everywhere, and who feeleth no exultation and no aversion on obtaining diverse objects that are agreeable and disagreeable. When one withdraws his senses from the objects of senses, as the tortoise its limbs from all sides, even his is steadiness of mind. Objects of sense fall back from an abstinent person, but not so the passion. Even the passion recedes from one who has beheld the Supreme. The agitating senses, O son of Kunti, forcibly draw away the mind of even a wise man, striving hard to keep himself aloof from them. Restraining them all, one should stay in contemplation, making me his sole refuge. For his is steadiness of mind, whose senses are under control. Thinking of the objects of sense, a person's attachment is begotten towards them. From attachment springeth wrath. From wrath ariseth one of discrimination. From one of discrimination, loss of memory. From loss of memory, loss of understanding. And from loss of understanding is utterly ruined. But the self-restrained man, enjoying objects with senses free from attachment and aversion, and under his own control, attaineth to peace. On peace being attained, the annihilation of all his miseries taketh place, since the mind of him whose heart is peaceful soon becometh steady. He who is not self-restrained hath no knowledge. He who is not self-restrained hath no contemplation. He who hath no contemplation hath no peace. Whence can there be happiness for him who hath no peace? For the heart that follows in the wake of the senses moving destroys his understanding like the wind, a boat in the waters. Therefore, O thou of mighty arms, O thou of mighty arms, his is steadiness of mind, whose senses are restrained on all sides from the objects of sense. The restrained man is awake when it is night for all creatures, and when other creatures are awake, that is night to a discerning Muni. He into whom all objects of desire enter, even as the waters enter the ocean which constantly he into whom all objects of desire enter, even as the waters enter the ocean which constantly replenished, still maintains its watermark unchanged, obtains peace and not one that longeth for objects of desire. That man who moveth about, giving up all objects of desire, who is free from craving, and who hath no affection and no pride, attaineth to peace. This, O Bhagavata, is the divine state. Attaining to it, one is never deluded. Abiding in it, one obtains on death absorption into the Supreme Self. Okay. Thank you, I'm done. 1 hour session. Felt longer. Yeah, 1 hour is more than enough. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna do yoga in about an hour. I'm thinking whether I should chant a little bit before, just to wrap up. I might do that. Chanting, wrapping up chanting session coming up next for about 45 minutes or so. Thank you. Have a good day.